Hey guys, it's Erin again. I wanted to go over the bulk of what the Goldwell Top Chic portfolio looks like. It is our permanent hair care line. Permanent hair color line. It has 100 plus shades. It's beautiful. It gives you shine. It gives you everything. But one of the big things that it does is we have patented technology that sets us apart from other brands. So I really today just want to kind of dive in head first and just hit what I feel like are the key points that represent what Top Chic is. I like to start with anytime I am teaching something or I'm learning something or find something that maybe inspires me, I go for that inspiration or for that moment of being fed through either an inspirational quote that I saw, maybe a picture I found on Pinterest, or maybe even like one of my coworkers, a client that they did or whatever, and I saw it and I'm like, oh God, I want to recreate that. Fortunately, with Top Chic, I know I can, first off. But one quote that really kind of hits home with me, I've used it multiple times before, and it's kind of my go-to because to me it kind of represents what Top Chic is, but also kind of what Goldwell is as a brand. And that is, perfect color is not a matter of chance, it is the result of perfect performance. So I want you to think about that for a second. If we have a picture, per se, that we look at, and we consider that to be, or better yet, we're watching a football game, and it is the perfect game. Our team's winning, they haven't got any flags, they haven't, no injuries, nothing, right? So to us, they're playing the perfect game. They've got it. But they had skills or fundamentals or a camp or a coach that helped them get to that level. So to me, like, perfection is being able to guarantee my work when my client walks out the door, or being able to stand behind a product line as a stylist of 18 years, but also as a colorist, also as just a mom. Like, I can guarantee to my fellow mom clients who come in that I can give them the shine that they're wanting. I can give them the youthful hair back. I can give them all of those things that they've been missing for so long and haven't been able to find it in another line. So again, this quote just kind of represents to me what Goldwell does as a company, but also what Goldwell does as a brand, really. So what is Top Chic? These are the things that I really want to get in today that I feel like will give you a better idea of what Top Chic is. I really want to tap on the what, the who, the what, the how, and the who. The what is Goldwell? The who is who's it for? The how is how it does what it is known for doing. We're going to dive in a little bit deeper to a little surprise that I have later for you. I do want to tap on Bond Pro. It's something that I use on every single client that sits in my chair, even if they don't request it. It's still something that I do every single time. Plus, it's a $15 to $25 add-on service that's an upsell, right? And then we'll recap, and then I want to hear your aha moments. Like, what were those things that I went over today that just really hit home with you? Maybe it was something that you heard another stylist say, but you doubted it. Or maybe it's something that you've been struggling with for a long time, but just couldn't figure it out. So let's jump in. Let's jump into the what, the how, and the who. So our who for this particular video is going to be the client who's looking for 100% gray coverage. Maybe she has 50%, but she's in her late 30s, she has children, she has a career, and having that little bit of gray hair just isn't going to work for her. To her, when she looks in the mirror, she looks unfinished or unpolished. What makes us stand apart from other lines? I believe it's our technology. We have some of the most patented state-of-the-art technology in hair color still. We're a leading brand in our industry because of it. So, and then again, the how. So let's go over how to mix it, how to time it, how to formulate it, how to use the Goldwell Blueprint formulation layout in order to have a fail-safe color every single time. As long as you're using that particular blueprint, you know if you plug everything in, your formula, your results are dead on, that you've nailed it, right? Three of the main things that are in Top Chic lotion and or color is the Intralipid. Intralipid is found in the actual cream developer itself, and it helps to condition and balance. The coenzyme technology helps to neutralize the free radicals that actually live inside the hair shaft when you're doing color. The Equalizer System 2.0 helps to equalize the structure of the hair after an alkaline or an acid service. But it also gives you 40 to 50% more combability through your hair. So you're not going to have as much breakage. You're not going to have as much damage from a permanent hair color. Really, could we pull permanent hair color through the ends? Absolutely. Have we been taught in the past that that's not the best idea? Sure. Fortunately, with Goldwell, we don't have to do that because we can color match it in colorants, right? So we can do permanent Top Chic on their new growth if they are 50% gray or more, and then we can color match that to Colorants Core or Colorants Express, whichever, in order to color balance without having to layer deposit after deposit on top of the hair. Top Chic comes in levels 2 through 10s. It is broken down in our color book, to me, super easy. It makes life easy when I have it all right there. Everything's in one place. I recommend before ever really diving into it, I like to go through and like look at any specific color is on the color wheel, because wherever that color lives is the direction in which that color is going to go. So, for example, say I have a 6G. To me, a 6G is pretty yellow, right? Like gold is yellow base. So that would be a pretty warm level 6. Well, really, 6G sits closer to the copper side than it does the green side. So really, to a client, more than likely, that's going to appear almost like a coppery gold at a level 6. So that's just something that I really want y'all to keep in mind. Our line is, Top Chic is done with letters and numbers. So if you look at a can of color, excuse me one second. So if you look in your color continuum and you look at a can of color, you'll see the numbers first, which is your level. Then you'll see a first number and a second number. A first letter and a second letter. The first letter is going to be your primary tone. The second letter is going to be your secondary tone, which I consider to be like your reflective tone. That's what you're going to see when you're in the sunlight. That's what you're going to see when you have direct light, any kind, on top of your head, right? Like I said, there's 100+ shades. We can guarantee that our clients are going to have the shine and manageability because of the Intralipid technology, the coenzyme technology, the Equalizer System 2.0. We know that we have given them the absolute best canvas that we can, and now all they got to do is go out and rock it, right? Top Chic has four developers. 3%, which is 10 volume, 6%, which is 20 volume, 9%, which is 30 volume, and 12%, which is 40 volume. All right, so let's get into the segments of Top Chic. So if you will, I'm going to have you grab, I put some on the table, so if y'all just want to share, that's fine. I have a few extra actual like hard copy kind of go-to books if you need that as well. So what we call our master palette is kind of where, like it's like if you were to look at, say, an artist's palette of color, right? A palette of paint. To me, that's almost what the segments of Top Chic are. So we're broke down into multiple different segments, but 7 are, I would say, like our biggest part of the portfolio. Our naturals, which is going to provide our 100% gray coverage. We have N, NA, NN, and at illuminated. So again, if you'll open your book, excuse me, you'll see in the first page all of our naturals. Levels 2 through 10, everything is laid out. It shows you what it looks like. So for example, we have the NN. Let's say 7 NN, right? We know, because I can look at this and see that this is 7 NN. Excuse me. 7 NN, which is 7 natural. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had to get a drink. And then if you turn the page, it's broken down, which this is probably one of my favorite things, is it's broken down not only into your blondes, your browns, and your reds, but now you have your warm blondes, warm browns, warm reds, and then you also have cool blondes, cool browns, and cool reds. So you can go and grab that swatch book and look at it. And if your client's saying that I want this just rich, like milk chocolate brown, well, milk chocolate brown to me may be of like a 6GB or a 6B, which is warm, but maybe to her, looking at a milk chocolate or something, she sees more of like a 5BA or a 5A or even just a 5 natural, right? So this is, to me, is always a good visual. I don't usually recommend taking the entire book out. If you have like the wall swatch book, there's actually a little thing that you can remove certain swatches and bring it to them. So I usually like to do maybe one warm, one cool, and then their starting level, like their existing level, right? So if we continue on with the book, you'll see we also have our special lift series. We have our blonding cream, which is great if you're trying to bump it up one more level. We have our violet ash and ash, which is designed neutralites for levels 5 and below. And then again, it has what that base level is, and then what each particular product is going to look like at that level. So the Top Chic Ash is not really made for a level 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not really made for a level 5. They would recommend, Goldwell would prefer that you use more of a violet ash, just so that you get a little bit more control. At a level 4, both are recommended. At a level 3 and 2, go straight ash, right? This is it. This is what I was talking about. This is great to take out to a client if you're trying to color match what their base color is. We'll come back to this in just a second. I really kind of want to break down a little bit more and give you some examples of what, say, maybe to Goldwell, what a warm brown is, but what a cool blonde is, okay? So when we look at, say, our warm browns are going to be G, GB, B, BG, BN, and then we're going to go into our reds. So our cool blondes and cool browns are going to be BP, BA, A, CA, MB, BM, SB, BS, PVR. So one thing that we really need to remember is with our cooler tones, like say a level 7 BP, right? So a level 6 BP is going to be brown pearl. So it is a really pretty like chocolate brown, but a 7 BP is not brown any longer. It's now beige. So that does give you a different end result. That's one thing that I really like to explain when I'm going into classes, just so that they understand. If you look at where those colors live on the color wheel, for example, over here, here's 8SB, right, which is closer to the green than it is to the purple, right? So you have to remember that that 8SB is still in the blue category, but it's going towards more of a matte finish. So we really, really, really have to keep that in mind when we are formulating. If we're formulating for level 8 and we put, say, a 8A on that, or I'm sorry, an 8BA, well, that's no longer like a brown ash or blue ash or whatever it is in other lines. For us, that's a beige ash. So you're going to really get a different level of control when you get into those tones. One thing I did want to touch on really quick while we're going over some of these is our Max Red. We consider those to be fashion shades. So we have our VV Max, our VR, RR. The Max Reds actually do contain the ChromaMax technology, which is amazing. And that really just gives our red longevity. It seals the cuticle down, helps to drive that color in deeper, but it creates almost like a cellophane wrap around the hair just to keep it in there. Also, our Special Lift Series. Our Special Lift Series is designed to be mixed 2 to 1 instead of 1 to 1, like our 2 through 10 series. We also have mix shades, which are additives that you can add into your formula to give you a little bit extra boost of whatever pigment you feel like you may lose. They're great when you're trying to control warmth. Maybe you have, a lot of orange, like yellow-orange underlying pigment from doing a color correction or whatever, then you're able to really kind of, like say you would use a 8CA in Color-Ons, right, to just kind of cut some of that. I can go in and I can add a little bit of P-Mix to that. Same thing if I'm doing like a 10P Top Chic all over with 30 volume. I know that that 30 volume is going to eat up a little bit of that pearl, so I can add P-Mix back to it to fix that compensation. So let's dive a little bit deeper into what those segment-specific technologies are. If you'll go ahead and get your Know It guide out that I passed out at the beginning of the class, open it, and we're just going to turn to this tailor-made segment page. This kind of goes in, it breaks down what those key technologies are in each individual segment that really sets us apart. It's something that we can stand and be proud of because we know that this color, when I put it on your hair, it's going to do this. Like it's a guarantee almost. To me, it's almost like an insurance package. So if you're looking at the same page as me, I want you to find where it says DPS. It's going to be in your top left-hand corner. And then I also want you to see which segment DPS falls in, and then let's see why, right? So DPS is our dye penetration system. What that does is it helps in gray coverage, almost as if it was to like have a larger dye load, only because gray hair is so resistant. They have to really kind of drive that, drive the pigment in there, right? So if you look, it does say right here that our naturals, which is 100% gray coverage, has the DPS system in it. So next I want you to look for ChromaX, the CM, which if you remember going back to our other page we talked about when we went over the Max Reds. The Chromax technology is, it's almost like having 2 red molecules instead of just 1 when you're trying to deposit. So it's going to give it almost like an extra boost of red or an extra boost of intensity to help carry those Max Reds in deeper into the hair shaft so that they last longer. It gives just a really pretty, like, alive, warm, cool, intense red, but it's also found in our illuminated reds. Our illuminated reds are, say it's 5R at RR. So that at RR necessarily isn't that it has a lumen in it, because the at illuminated doesn't mean it contains a lumen. It contains shine like a lumen. So it's going to make it look like you had a lumen service, but it also allows that color to kind of like illuminate almost in the sun. Now I want you to go through and find the Cool Protect technology. So the Cool Protect, which is here, is found in your browns and your blondes. It's going to be found in the cooler colors. So it's going to be found in your cool browns and your cool blondes. And what that does is it gives our color like stability. So when that color starts to fade off in 6 or 8 weeks from now, we know that it's going to fade true to tone. It's not going to fade and start getting that like funky brassy color. It's not going to fade. I mean, if we put a straight, say, 7SB, we know when she comes in, it's not going to look like a 7G, right? Because it has Cool Protect technology, which is going to keep the cool tones where they are, but it's going to fade on tone versus fading in a warm direction. Our high lift control system, which is found in our special lift series, any of our high lift blonde series. And what that does is it's like the perfect pigment combination in order to lift and tone almost at the same time. So we know we can use, say, 11SV, right? And it's going to lift, but it's also going to lift and their hair's still going to be healthy, conditioned. It's not going to blow that cuticle crazy open, but it is going to give it that little bit of extra nudge to get to the next point. So that was just a few that I wanted to go over. Some of the ones that I hit home with and something that I feel proud to have in a color line. So let's recap just a little bit real fast, and then also I want to kind of dive into our timing and mixing on Top Chic 2 through 10 series. So our 2 through 10 series, if you still have your guide out, your Noah guide, we are going to open it all the way up, and we're going to go to this page right here. So our 2 through 10 series, if you look, these right here are amazing. First off, like, it is the perfect instructions. You don't even have to read it. All you gotta do is look at the pictures, and it has everything. So let's run through this one really quick. Our 2 through 10 series is mixed 1-to-1. 1-to-1 is equal parts lotion, equal parts color. Goldwell's standard mixing ratio is 40 mils of developer and 40 mils of color. So let's put, it's mixed 1-to-1. It can be mixed with 3%, 6%, 9%, or 12%, right? It can be used under heat, an open air processor, or it can also be used without. So we're just going to put a heat like this, and then a heat like this. With heat, when I say heat, that is an open air processor, not heat lamps, not a dryer, nothing. It has to be like a heating, like it has to have open air so that it's not direct heat onto the scalp, but also onto the color, because we don't want to hurt our clients' heads or anything. Processing with heat, it's going to be 20 minutes. Processing without heat is going to be 30 minutes, and that's 30 minutes at room temperature. So without heat is 30, with heat is 20, right? Let's go ahead and flip over to the special lift. The special lift, though, is mixed 2 to 1. It is recommended to be used with 9%, which is 30 volume, or 12%, which is 40 volume. It is recommended, it can be also put under an open air processor as long as being processed at room temperature. So open air is going to be 30 minutes. And then it's going to be, 45 minutes with no heat. Or 30 minutes with heat. Okay? Now let's flip that over and let's kind of touch on the top sheet effects. Top sheet effects are designed for levels 2 through 7. Anything higher than that, you're not going to get a true result of what it does. It is designed to be mixed with 6%, 9%, or 12%. So level 7, though, is only 20%, or 20 volume, nothing higher. But level 6 through 2, you can use up to 30, and then levels 2 and 3, you can actually use 40 volume to still get that really nice intense red. So if we go back to our swatch book real quick, and we look at those top sheet effects, you can see they're pretty intense. I mean, they are not joking around. They are absolutely gorgeous. They're beautiful, but they are intense. They do only come in 5 shades, but it's cool that I can put, say, like a VR effects on a level 2, and I can still get dimension, you know? So I use it a lot on like my dark red, say like maybe a 3VV. I love going in with a VV effects with 30 volume, and then maybe a VR effects with 40 volume, and just kind of alternate my panels, random placement, like no pattern, no nothing, just kind of where I can visualize the hair laying. It's beautiful just to give it that nice little pop, you know? So that is our how. Now let's get into formulating Goldwell color. So as I mentioned earlier, you might remember, we talked about blueprinting. Blueprint is Goldwell's fail-safe formulation layout. If you follow this if you follow this blueprint to a T, it's fail-safe. It's almost like doing the work for you. It's planning it out for you, almost like if you were to hire a party planner and they plan a party for you. You're not doing anything but telling her what you want. She's taking care of everything else. That's exactly what the blueprint is. We're telling it what we want, and by following it, it's giving us what we want. Like, it's answering all of our questions for us. It's creating our formula, right? So if we go through it, there's 5 steps to actually writing out a blueprint. So step number 1 is establishing what the existing level is. Whether that be their natural color, like natural hair, or maybe it's a pre-colored, right? So if they have a level 5 at their new growth and they have a level 7 at their ends, you have to take that into consideration when you're formulating, because I can't put, if I'm trying to bump the 5 up to a 7, I can't put that same formula mid-shaft to ends, because she's already a 7 here, right? So I don't need to lift her. I don't need to expose anything else. And then next step 2 is like pinpointing down what your target shade is. Like, what's your target level? If I'm a level 5, or she's a level 5, but she wants to be a 7, so my target level is going to be a 7. I am going to do and formulate in order to take her to a level 7. Step 3 is your target color. So that's going to be what tone does she want that level 7 to be, right? And then number 4 is going to be the percentage sign, which is your percentage of gray. When formulating, you can formulate a gray coverage formula in a fashion direction. You can also use the add eliminated naturals. Like that is pretty much already formulated in a fashion direction for you, but you're going to get that incredible shine from Illumin as well. And finally, the last step is identifying what the natural contributing pigment is going to be if you're going lighter. If we're staying on the same level, we're just changing tone value, then we don't really need to account for what that underlying pigment is in planning out our formula, right? So for example, if our existing level is a level 6, she really wants to be a 7. I showed her, we talked about the swatch book. She said that she really wanted just a beautiful, warm red. So she kind of fell in love with 7K, which is beautiful, right? Oh, by the way, K, or copper, in Goldwell, copper in Goldwell is represented by the letter K. It's not represented by the letter C. So if you see something that's, say, like an 8CA, that's not 8 copper ash. That's 8 cool ash. She has no gray, and she doesn't have any underlying pigment, right? Because she's already a level 7. We're just shifting the tone. So in that case, if she's already a level 6, right, and she wants to be a 7, we know that 20 volume is going to give us 1 level of lift, right? So if I'm going from a 6 to a 7, I'm going up 1 level, right? Her target color is the same level, or yeah, same level always. She just wants to be a K. She wants to be copper. She wants to be that really pretty, just rich red. But since we are going up 1 level, we're going to use 20 volume. So our formula for this would be 40 mils, 20 vol, 40 mils, 7K, right? Because there's no gray coverage, so we don't need to add in an N series to that. She's not a level 2 and wanting to go to a level 5 cool. You know, like she's staying pretty close to her level that she has already. She just wants to brighten it up a little bit. So we don't need anything more than 20 volume when we're doing it. All right. So let's do one more. Hold on a second. I got the wrong one. So say that, just ignore those, sorry. Let's say our existing level is a level 8. My target level is a level 7. My target color is a 7GB. I have no gray and no natural contributing pigment. So in that case, I'm at a level 8, right? But I want to go a level darker. So this time we're going to use 10 volume, because 10 volume in Top Chic is deposit only. That's not going to give me, 10 volume doesn't mean it gives me 1 level of lift. So our formula for that would be 40 mils 10 vol, right? And I'm going up 1 level, or I'm sorry, I'm going down 1 level. So then 40 mils, and she wants to be 7GB. So 40 mils of 7GB. There's your formula. Done. Right? Like blueprinting it. It's fail-safe. I mean, if you're not doing this, you're doing yourself a disfavor, really. I've used Goldwell. This is my 15th year now, and I still blueprint every single client that sits in my chair. Every single one. So, just a few more examples of formulating. And you may have, when I mentioned earlier, formulating a gray coverage formula but in a fashion direction, the percentage of those, because really what you're going to do is you're going to take what your natural is, that's going to be what you're going to use as your gray coverage, but then you're also going to add in whatever that fashion shade is that they're wanting to be. So even though they want to be a 6K and they're 50% gray, I still have to put a 6N in there to give that 6K something to hold on to, okay? So when formulating for your fashion shades, the colors that you want, or the tones that you want as that gray coverage are going to be your N's, your NN, NAs. The at illuminated is not designed to be mixed with any other color. They are to be used out of the can the way they are. So you wouldn't mix a 8N with a 8N at BP, right? So when you're formulating for that gray, you really have to look at the percentage of gray that they are. You have to look at if we're going up a level or down a level, or if we're staying the same, but we're just changing tone. Because if they're going up a level and they have 50% gray, we have to make sure to compensate the right percentage of N or NA or NN into our formula so that A, it doesn't brown that fashion shade out, but also it gives that gray hair something to allow it to hold on to, right? So here's another example. Let's say her existing level is a level 5, right? Her target level is a 7, which is how many levels? Difference. 2 levels up, 2 levels higher. Her target color is a 7B, which if you look at your swatch book and you look at where 7B lives, I'm sorry, not your swatch book, your color wheel. Look at your color wheel and see where that 7B lives. 7B lives down here in the brown section, but it's in a almost copper direction, really, because it's in the copper pie, right? But it's down here in the neutrals. So it is a brown. We know going from a level 5 to a level 7, we are going to have contributing pigment, right? So when we formulate, we need to formulate for that contributing pigment. We need to use one of our control shades, which is going to be the A's or the SB's or the BS or NA's. So all of those P's, all of those are cooler tones, which are going to eliminate whatever that unwanted underlying tone is, right? So the NCP, which is the natural contributing pigment, is left behind once the melanin is pulled out of the skin. Out of the hair. It's the remainder of the melanin that's left behind. So with this particular formula, since we are going from a level 5 to a level 7, we're going up 2 levels. So we know that if we go up 2 levels, it's 30 volume, because Goldwell 30 volume gives you 2 levels of lift, not 1. Her target shade or color is a 5B, 30% gray, and we know her underlying, or the natural contributing pigment from this ratio is going to be a light orange. So we have to add in some kind of control into that to make sure that we have control, right? Because it's going to give me already warmth in that. So I can't go and put a warm color on top of a warm color and expect to get a neutral result, right? So the 7B is almost going to act as our fashion shade, if you will, because she is 30% gray. If we go back and we look at our chart, our 30% gray needs at least 15 mils of NA or NN in order to carry whatever fashion shade is with it, right? So because she wants to stay at a level 7, she's 30% gray, we're going to do 20 mils 7N, 5 mils of 7B, and 15 mils of 7A. Why are we throwing the 7A in here? Because I know if I look at the light orange on my color wheel, whatever color is directly across from that is what I need to use in order to control what that underlying pigment is, right? So across from light orange is ash. So I need to know, I need to compensate and make sure that I pay attention to that when I'm formulating, or I'm going to go and put 7B with 30 volume all over a level 5, and before I know it, she's got like a 6 KR all over her head. And then I'm really up the creek without a paddle, and I've got to go and backtrack, and now that simple root retouch turned into a complete color correction service because of me, not because of the client, right? So our formula here, let's formulate this real quick. We know it's going to be 40 mils. We're going 2 levels, right? So 40 mils, 30 vol. We've got 30 mils of gray. So 20 mils of our formula is going to be our gray coverage. It's going to have light orange natural contributing pigment. So we're going to do 15 mils of 7A, and then 5 mils of 5 mils of our fashion shade or target shade, right? So going on to the next one, let's formulate a client who has 50% or more of gray, right? Because those are our bread and butter clients. Those gray hair clients are the clients that pay our bills, really. They're loyal, they're consistent, they're in every 3 weeks. They don't want to see the slightest bit of sparkle when they walk outside in their hair, maybe in their eye, not in their hair. So this is going to be our next scenario. Our existing level is gray, right? She's 100% gray. It's her natural color. She doesn't have any color on it, nothing. Her gray sits at a level 8. So if you look, gray really is a cool tone, correct? So she's sitting at a level 8 in a cool direction already. She wants to stay on level. She only wants to change the tone. So since she's not going up a level or down a level, I don't need to use, or I'm sorry, up 2 levels or up 2 levels, I don't need to use a 30 or 40 volume, right? So I know that she is 100% gray because my blueprint tells me, right? And then I know that because we're not lifting a level or more, I don't have to compensate for the natural contributing pigment, right? Because there is none. We're staying on tone. Only difference is she's 100% gray, white, and she wants to be an 8 kg. So because we know it's natural, she's already a level 8, right? Target color is 8 kg, so we know we're going to do 40 mils, 8 kg. But she's 100% gray, so 10 volume to keep her tone on level isn't going to work. I need something to give that something to hold on to, right? I'm sorry, I told you wrong here. Because she is 100% gray, we need to add into our formula in order to guarantee that we have gray coverage, right? So I apologize for that mistake. That was totally my fault. But because she is 100% gray, we have to put at least 25 mils of 8N because we want to stay on level. We don't want to go darker and we don't want to go lighter. We want to stay on level. So her fashion shade is going to be 8 kg. So we know Gold Oil standard mix, 40 mils, 20 vol, right? We know we already have 25 mils of 8N, right? So that leaves us 15 mils left over for our fashion shade, right? Because we need to equal 40. So if we've got 25 mils here, our 8 kg is going to be 15 mils. And our formula is going to be 40 mils, 20 volume, 25 mils, 8N, 15 mils, 8 kg. Bam. There's your formula. Fail safe. hop back over here really quick because I want to do one more gray coverage blueprint formulating on you or with you so that you can see what that formulation looks like if we're going to use an illuminated natural instead of using the fashion coverage. Okay, so let's say existing level, target level, target color, percentage, and then her natural contributing pigment. Okay, so her natural level is level 8. I'm sorry. Yeah, natural level is a level 8. Her target level is level 8. Her target color is, say, like 8K, right? And she's 80% gray. I'm not lifting, so I'm not going to have any of this, correct? Even though I'm saying tone on tone or level on level, I'm shifting tonal value, and I have 80% gray hair. So 80%, because it's above 50, we know we need to use 20 volume. So automatically that's 40 mils, 20 vol, right? She's at a level 8 already. All she wants to do is go to a level K, but because she's 80%, I have to put an N, NA, or NN in there in order to give her 8K longevity and something to grab onto, right? Because that gray hair is translucent. There's nothing there for it to hold on to. Fortunately, Goldwell offers an 8N at KK. So what that is basically exactly what we just made with the formula before. Now they just did it for me. So I'm not having to add in that fashion shade. I'm not having to compromise any of my formula because I know I can do 40 mils, 8N at KK, and she's going to have a level 8K. She's going to have a level 8 gray coverage with a KK reflection. So when she walks outside, she's going to see that beautiful, shiny copper hair, right? Gorgeous. All right, so moving right along. What if I told you that I had a product it's kind of like magic? What if I told you that I had a product that could rebuild hair? What if I told you, sorry, excuse me 1 second. What if I told you that I had two products that you could use as an add-on service, that you could use as a premium service, something that you can add into not only your lightener, but your color, your texturizers, or it can be used as a standalone product only. So, in my eyes, that's magic. Welcome to the world of Bond Pro, my friends. So I'm going to have y'all go ahead and get out the Know It product guide that I gave you at the beginning of the class. We're going to just kind of blow through it really quick. I know we're almost out of time, so I won't try to keep y'all. Bond Pro is a inter-amino bond system. So what that means is it has amino acids, moisturizing pathanol, and then polymers, which are going to help to rebuild and restructurize overprocessed, stressed, or just weakened hair, right? Like it may not even necessarily be a chemical service. It could be that she's just one of those people that kind of got the short end of the stick on hair texture. It's rough. It looks horrible. So with that, we can go and we can change it. So it is 2 steps. A protecting serum, which is going to protect during the lightening coloring process. And it also is a neutralizing fortifier. It actually refines, builds, strengthens, and nourishes all at the same time. If you add it into lightener, you want to add it once you've mixed your lightener completely. Same thing with your color. with your neutralizer, you're going to add it after you do, your texturizing service. You're going to do it at the bowl when you neutralize. As a standalone service, what's really cool about it, and if you look on your Know It Guide, it actually has the recipe for what that is. So that standalone service is on towel dried hair. You're going to mix 1 pump of the number 1 with 90 mils of water, distilled water preferably. Put it in an applicator bottle, shake really good, apply it all over. 5 minutes, no heat. Then you're going to take them back to the bowl, apply the step 2 right over the top of it, and then you're going to do 10 minutes, no heat, rinse, shampoo, condition, done. You just did a $25 to $35 service in 15 minutes. To me, that's kind of winning. Like I said, it's magic. So let's recap really quick. We found out what the what was, right? Our what is top sheet. Our how is technology. And our who that we talked about today is that gray coverage client. And just one more time, I went ahead and wrote down what that Bond Pro formula was for the add-on service if anybody wants to copy it before we leave. I hope that I have answered all of your questions. I hope that you can kind of walk in your salon with your head a little bit higher with some confidence and feel like you have got it in the bag, like you're going to nail it. I know that it can be intimidating. I get it. It's a lot. It's a lot of material. I am always available if you need. I will put my Facebook handle and my Instagram handle up at the end of class. If y'all want to come up and take a picture, please feel free to write down yours as well, because I would love to follow you back. And that's it. I'm Erin Santos. Thanks, guys.